Hello, my fellow pool players. In this video, I'm going to be covering the 8-ball rules used by the BCA and USA Players Leagues. I will not be covering the rules that apply primarily to tournament play or rules that apply to rare or unique situations. If you're looking for information on a rule not covered in this video, I will include a link to the full set of rules in this video's description. And as always, if you have any questions about the topics covered in this video, please let me know in the comments. 8-ball is a call shot game played with a cue ball and 15 object balls numbered 1 through 15. Each player or team has a group of 7 balls. The solid colored balls numbered 1 through 7, or the striped balls numbered 9 through 15. The 8-ball is the game-winning ball. The object of the game is to pocket your entire group of balls and then legally pocket the 8-ball. The game is played by 2 players or by 2 teams. The balls must be racked in the shape of a triangle with the apex ball on the foot spot. The rows behind the apex ball have to be parallel to the foot string. The 8-ball is placed in the middle of the row with 3 balls, and the bottom corners have 1 stripe and 1 solid. Orientation doesn't matter. The official rules state that the remaining balls should be placed randomly. However, many people, myself included, rack the balls the same way every time. This is allowed just as long as the way you rack doesn't give you an unfair advantage. This is what a legal rack looks like. You can see the apex ball on the foot spot, a stripe and a solid on the corners, and the 8-ball in the center of the row containing 3 balls. Additionally, the rows of the rack are parallel to the foot string. If you are breaking, you must rack for yourself. All balls must be racked as tightly as possible. If the arrangement of the rack does not fit with the game requirements, it will be corrected without penalty. You begin the break with ball in hand behind the head string. For a break to be legal, you must pocket at least 1 object ball or cause at least 4 object balls to make contact with 1 or more cushions. If you legally pocket an object ball, you continue to shoot. If you do not legally pocket a ball or you commit a foul, your inning ends and it is your opponent's turn at the table. If you do not execute a legal break, for example, 4 object balls do not hit a rail, your opponent may re-rack and break or require you to re-rack and break again. If you scratch on the break or commit any other foul, your inning ends and your opponent receives ball in hand anywhere on the table. It is a foul if any object balls are jumped off the table during a legal break. If the 8-ball jumps off the table during a legal break, then the 8-ball is spotted. Any other jumped object balls stay off the table. If you pocket the 8-ball on a legal break and do not foul, you may have the 8-ball spotted and accept the table in position, or you can re-rack and break again. If you pocket the 8-ball on the break and foul, your opponent may have the 8-ball spotted and have ball in hand anywhere on the table, or they may choose to re-rack and break. If you intend to break softly, you must notify your opponent and allow them the opportunity to call a referee to watch you break. If you intentionally break softly and do not inform your opponent beforehand, you will receive a mandatory warning for your first offense, and any future violations will result in a foul. This rule is in place to prevent players from taking advantage of pattern racking. Pattern racking is the illegal practice of racking the balls in a specific position in order to gain an advantage. Here is an example of a player gaining an advantage because of pattern racking. Notice how the striped balls ended up in one area of the table, while the solids are more spread out. Some may consider this a lucky break, except the player achieved similar results several times during the same match. The results were achieved by racking the balls in a consistent pattern and then breaking softly to control the movement of the balls. The table is always open after the break, and remains open until groups are established. When the table is open, all object balls, except the 8-ball, are legal object balls. It is a foul if the 8-ball is the first ball contacted during a shot on an open table. Groups are established once the first object ball is legally pocketed on a shot after the break. The player legally pocketing the first ball is assigned that group, and their opponent is assigned the other group. When making a combination shot when the table is open, the ball of one group may be contacted first to pocket a ball of the other group. The 8-ball may be part of the combination just as long as it is not the first ball contacted by the cue ball. Once groups are established, play continues, with each player having their group as legal object balls. Balls in your opponent's group and the 8-ball are illegal object balls. When it is your inning, you continue to shoot as long as you legally pocket a ball on each shot. Any object ball pocketed in addition to the called ball remains pocketed. Any object balls jumped off the table or illegally pocketed object balls are not returned to the table. Your inning ends if you do not legally pocket a ball in your established group. You must designate the called ball and the called pocket before each shot. You may make the call verbally or by a clear, unambiguous gesture. You are not required to call an obvious shot. An obvious shot is defined as a shot where the cue ball has a clear path to the object ball and the object ball has a clear path to the pocket. Shots that are considered not obvious are banks, kicks, combinations, or shots that include caroms, kisses, or cushion contacts. Once you call your shot, it is irrelevant how the designated ball falls into the pocket. As long as the called ball falls into the called pocket during a legal shot, you will continue your inning at the table. For example, the shooter is attempting to cut the 7-ball into the corner pocket. Even though the 7-ball was not pocketed as intended, the shooter will continue their inning because the called ball fell into the called pocket during a legal shot. If you are not certain what shot your opponent is attempting, it is your responsibility to ask, and you must ask before your opponent is down on their shot. If you do not call a shot defined as not obvious, and you pocket any ball, your inning ends. The incoming player accepts the table in position. Players must use a legal stroke. To perform a legal stroke, the cue must be moving in a forward motion when it strikes the cue ball. Any lifting, sideways, or other brushing motions of the cue that make contact with the cue ball is not a legal stroke and will result in a foul. In order for a shot to be legal, there are 2 requirements that must be met. To fulfill the first requirement, the first ball contacted by the cue ball must be a legal object ball. Or the cue ball must hit a legal object ball and an illegal object ball simultaneously. After fulfilling the first requirement, any object ball must be pocketed, or any object ball or the cue ball must make contact with a cushion. I am going to review some examples to help demonstrate what constitutes a legal shot. In this first example, the player has stripes and called the 13 ball in the corner pocket. When attempting the shot, the player miscued and missed the 13 ball. The cue ball then rebounded off the rail, making contact with the 9 ball, driving the 9 ball to the cushion. Since the first ball hit was a legal object ball and a ball hit a rail after contact, this is a legal shot. In this next example, the shooter is attempting to pocket the 9 ball in the corner pocket. The cue ball made contact with the illegal object ball first, but a ball did not hit a rail after contact, so this is not a legal shot. It is a foul and the incoming player has ball in hand. In this next example, the 9 ball is frozen to the rail. If a ball frozen to the rail is the first legal ball the cue ball makes contact with, either the cue ball, another object ball, or the frozen ball must make contact with a cushion after the cue ball contacts the frozen ball. If a player shoots directly into a frozen ball like this, it is not a legal shot and it would be ball in hand for your opponent. If you shoot into a frozen ball like this, it is a legal shot because the cue ball made contact with a cushion after it made contact with a legal object ball. This is also a legal shot because the 3 ball made contact with the rail after the cue ball made contact with the 9 ball. You may call a safety on any shot except for the break or any shot where the 8 ball is your legal object ball. When calling a safety, you must communicate with your opponent in a clear, unambiguous manner. Safeties must be called verbally. Gestures are not sufficient no matter how clear they may appear. The non-shooting player has a responsibility to clearly acknowledge any called safeties. If a dispute arises as to whether a safety was called, the referee is the sole judge. When you declare a safety before a shot, your inning ends after the shot, even if you pocket a legal object ball. In this example, the shooter has 1 stripe left on the table and his opponent has 1 solid. The shooter chose to call a safety and pocket the 9 ball, leaving his opponent a kick shot on the 3 ball. Many players will call a safety anytime they are attempting a defensive shot. This is highly recommended if there's any possibility that a legal object ball can be pocketed during the shot. In this example, the shooter is attempting a defensive shot without pocketing the 15 ball. If the player does not call a safety, his opponent can make him shoot again because the 15 is an obvious shot that doesn't need to be called. The 8 ball becomes your legal object ball on your first shot after there are no balls of your group left on the table. The player who legally pockets the 8 ball wins the game. It is not a loss of game if you foul when shooting the 8 ball, but do not pocket the 8 ball. It is an automatic loss of game if you illegally pocket the 8 ball. You jump the 8 ball off the table on any shot other than the break. You pocket the 8 ball on the same shot as the last ball of your group. You pocket the 8 ball when it is not your legal object ball. You pocket the 8 ball and scratch. Or you pocket the 8 ball on a shot defined as not obvious and you do not call the shot. During a game, it is not a foul if you accidentally touch or move a single stationary object ball with any part of your body, clothing, or equipment unless the disturbed ball has an effect on the outcome of a shot. For example, it is a foul if you disturb a ball during your stroke and any ball set in motion makes contact with the disturbed ball. It is also a foul if a ball set in motion goes through the area previously occupied by a disturbed ball. If a disturbed ball has no effect on the outcome of a shot, your opponent has the option to leave the disturbed ball where it came to rest or to restore it to its original position. If the disturbed ball is to be restored, a referee may restore it, your opponent may restore it, or you may restore it with your opponent's permission. It is a foul if you touch or restore the disturbed ball without your opponent's permission. If a single disturbed ball falls into a pocket with no effect on the outcome of a shot, your opponent has the restoration option. However, if the disturbed ball is the 8 ball, then the ball must be restored. If the 8 ball is disturbed and falls into a pocket when there is an effect on the outcome of the shot, it is a loss of game. In this example, the 10 ball passes through the area previously occupied by the 8 ball, so the shooter would lose the game. It is a foul if you disturb the cue ball, you disturb more than one object ball, a disturbed ball contacts any other ball, or you disturb a ball that is in motion. If a disturbed ball causes a foul, your opponent gets ball in hand, but does not get restoration options. Jump shots are legal shots. However, it is a foul if you intentionally cause the cue ball to rise off the bed of the table by digging under or scooping the cue ball with the cue. If such a motion is unintentional, it is considered a miscue and not a foul in and of itself. If you attempt to jump over or masse around an impeding illegal object ball, and the illegal impeding object ball moves during the stroke, it is a foul, regardless of whether it was moved by your equipment or any part of your body. The cue ball is not considered frozen to an object ball or a cushion unless it is declared frozen immediately prior to a shot. Your opponent may want to inspect the balls or get a referee to inspect the balls to ensure they are frozen. If a cue ball is frozen to a legal object ball, it is legal to shoot towards the object ball, provided you use a legal stroke. If the cue ball is frozen to a cushion, it is legal to shoot the cue ball into the cushion, provided you use a legal stroke. Although it is legal to shoot straight into a frozen object ball, it is still possible to commit a double hit foul or a push-off foul with frozen balls. Shooting the cue ball away from an object ball that is frozen to the cue ball does not constitute contacting the object ball. This shot would be a foul. It is a foul if you intentionally mark the table in any way to assist you in executing any shot or future shot. Marking includes the deliberate placement of chalk or any other object at a specific point on a rail, cushion, or bed of the table to aid in the alignment of a shot. The foul occurs at the moment you mark the table, regardless of whether you remove the mark or whether the shot is taken. If you suspect your opponent is marking the table, inform a referee. It is a foul if you intentionally distract your opponent or interfere with their play in any way. The non-shooting player has an obligation to pay attention to the game on the table, which includes clearly acknowledging called shots and safeties. If asked, the non-shooting player must provide information to you concerning the game on the table. For example, questions on whether they committed a foul or what group the player is shooting must be answered honestly. A foul may only be called by a person playing the game or by a referee that has been properly called to the table. Any foul not called before the next shot is taken is considered to have not occurred. The shooting player is not required to inform their opponent if they commit a foul. It is very important that you pay close attention to what's happening at the table during your game. If you become distracted or you are uncertain if a foul was committed, just ask your opponent. They are supposed to answer honestly. It is a good idea to call a ref to watch a shot if there is a possibility that a foul may be committed that is not obvious. The non-shooting player has the right to inspect the table to help them decide whether they would like to call a referee to watch a shot. If you commit a foul or otherwise violate the rules, you are penalized according to the specific rules of the game being played. Unless otherwise stated in the rules, if you commit a foul, your inning ends and your opponent receives ball in hand, anywhere on the table. Some fouls specify a warning for the first offense during a match. However, if you continually commit such fouls from match to match, it may be considered unsportsmanlike conduct, and the penalties for the first offense of those fouls may be more severe. During a match, it is a foul if you ask for or intentionally receive assistance in planning or executing any shot. It is also a foul if you receive unsolicited assistance from a spectator associated with you. Assistance includes being alerted to an opponent's foul. If you are not aware of an opponent's foul and you are alerted to the foul by someone in the crowd that is not associated with you, the foul is not enforceable, but you do not incur any additional penalty. Any spectator offering unsolicited assistance will be warned against further interruptions or removed from the area. When you have ball in hand, you may use your hand or any part of your cue, including the tip, to position the cue ball. If you use your cue to place the cue ball, any action that would be a legal stroke will be considered a shot and must meet the requirements of a legal shot, or it is a foul. Once you have picked up or moved the cue ball to take ball in hand, you may place the cue ball, pick it up or move it again, and replace it successive times until you take your shot. Immediately after a foul, when you are picking up or moving the cue ball for the first time to take ball in hand, the disturb balls rules apply. However, when picking up or moving the cue ball, it is a foul if you touch or disturb any object balls with the cue ball or your hand that holds the cue ball. It is a foul if you do not have at least 1 foot in contact with the floor when the cue tip strikes the cue ball. It is a foul if you scratch. It is a foul if you cause any ball to be jumped off the table. It is a foul if you shoot while any ball on the table is in motion. It is a foul if you execute a push shot. And it is a foul if your cue tip strikes the cue ball more than once on a single shot. If you need information about a rule not covered in this video, I included a link to the full set of rules in this video's description. Rules not covered in this video include equipment specifications, acceptance of provided equipment, use of equipment, cue requirements, start time of match, play without a referee, beginning and end of game or match, no practice allowed during match, tournament only, timeout, flag for break, breaking subsequent games of match, shot clock procedure, multiple fouls, deliberate foul, concession of match, unsportsmanlike conduct, spotting balls, jawed balls, balls settling or moving, stalemate, and player responsibility. I hope this video helped you better understand the rules used by the BCA and USA Players Leagues. If you have any questions about a rule not covered in this video, let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video and want more like it, please like and subscribe to show your support. Until next time, play hard and have fun.